Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the fourth video of the day, my fourth and final video for today before I spend the rest of today reading The Magician of Tiger Castle by Lewis Sacker. In this video, I am going to be reviewing a short story from Roald Dahl's Madness. Now, this, I believe, is the seventh one I am going to be reviewing on this channel. It is the final one in the book, but I am not really reading them in order. This one is called The Way Up to Heaven. It consists of about 20 pages, and I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was published on the 27th of February in 1954 in the New Yorker. Um, and this is what I have to say about it basically. I read it in one sitting and I found it to be rather mid, but I am a fan of Dahl's writing style overall. I really enjoy reading his works. I think he's one of my favorite authors of all time. He is extremely descriptive, and in describing a woman who suffers from anxiety, he makes his readers anxious, or in my case, frustrated and surprised. The madness comes into the story perhaps rather late, towards the end rather than during, although there is a build up to it as well as far as the anxiety is concerned. Mrs. Foster is basically a person who worries about not being on time when it comes to special occasions, when it comes to having to get somewhere using several modes of transportation. It is the one negative thing about the woman, apparently, and her husband does his utmost to trigger her anxiety. Perhaps he does it intentionally, perhaps not. It is not entirely clear as to whether he does it on purpose. Sometimes, though, Mrs. Foster seems to suspect that it is done on purpose. I do not understand why he would do such a thing willingly, but my theories are that perhaps it is to either tease her or to hold power over his wife, but from what I could gather, their marriage is a long and successful one. It is said that they'd been married for about 30 years, so I don't see what the fun in that would be. Maybe it's just a habit of his and he doesn't have any negative intentions, although he did come across as a bit of a downer, which too is to be understood in his old age, I suppose. He is um, turning 70 in a couple of months or years. He is approaching the age of 70. That is how he is described anyway. If I understood the conclusion correctly, and a bit of a spoiler alert here, if so, um, she gets rid of him by messing about with the elevator prior to her leaving for France to meet her daughter and grandchildren for 6 weeks, and the elevator stops working. He gets stuck in there and inevitably dies. So I understand that she'd want to live with her family in France. He didn't really want to, she just assumed that he wouldn't want to, but I suppose she would know after 30 years of being married to him. But at the same time, um, I suppose she is rather submissive towards her husband. This was written in the 1950s, so that isn't too far fetched of an idea. But killing him, whether directly or not, came across as excessive, perhaps even a bit unrealistic. At least we are not given enough context to properly hate Mr. Foster and to empathize with the wife. I feel as though there could have been better character development despite the narrative being. Um, a brilliant one, the basic concept being very simple but fascinating regardless, and the anxiety was depicted rather well throughout the 20 pages of the story. Even if she did not get rid of him, she does seem extremely happy when she realizes that he won't be forming part of her life anymore. She might not have um, removed him from her life directly, but she certainly does seem excited with the prospect of living on her own or with her family rather than with her husband after so many years of marriage, which is rather strange and uncalled for, and once again feels rather decontextualized. Um, and almost comes across as though this should form part of a bigger story. Let me know whether you agree if you have read this one, by the way. The elevator only comes into play in the final few lines and explains why the story is called The Way Up to Heaven. Um, I suppose the implications are very strong, and there are certain conclusions which are easy to draw. Yet another clue as to what happened, of course, the title itself. Um, Heaven also implies that Mr. Foster was a good guy who probably deserved better. Um, and yeah, I think that is all I had to say about this very, very short story in Roald Dahl's Madness collection. I definitely love his writing style, and I have three more stories to go. I will read them accordingly. They're very, very quick to get through. They're fun to read as well, and Madness comes across rather well. Yeah, that is all I had to say about this short story. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section if you've ever read it. And if you enjoyed my review of this story, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully, very, very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye, guys.